I want to say is that I didn't realize that under your proposed planetary ban of violent video games that the military would still have access to them, and I'll concede that point to you. Now, moving on. You said that I wasn't debating you on the prompt because if I had actually read the prompt, I would see that this is a debate on gun violence. Well, actually, I have read it, and I'll read it for you. Resolve. Video games glorifying gun violence should be banned. Clearly, this debate is on whether or not these games should be banned and whether the proposed ban would improve the world we live in. So it is not a debate on gun violence, it's a debate on your proposed ban, which is, and I quote, I propose a worldwide ban on violent video games. Now, last time I asked you for your definition of what a violent video game was. You, in response, failed to define this but stated that it didn't matter because this is a debate on gun violence. However, it's a debate on the ban. Specifically, it's a debate on your proposed ban, which is a worldwide ban on violent video games. Your ban is not a ban on video games glorifying gun violence. If it were, that would have addressed the prompt perfectly. But you are banning violent video games. In order for me to be able to appropriately debate your proposed ban, you need to establish a definition of violent video games because it is that which you wish to ban. Your ban does not focus on gun violence, it focuses on violent video games. My bringing up violence in sport games is incredibly relevant and is not, as you would say, a waste of time. Because while the prompt focuses on gun violence, you, however, in your proposed ban, did not. You proposed a worldwide ban on violent video games. As I stated, violence is very loosely defined and open to individual interpretation. There are people who truly believe that football aggression is violence. Again, had you defined violence and in violent video games, I would have been able to appropriately debate you and this would not have been an issue. Or if you had said, I propose a ban on gun violent video games, this would also not be an issue. At this point, I ask the judge to understand that my opponent has proposed a ban on violent video games, and that if in his last rebuttal he attempts to correct himself by stating that he wishes to ban video games glorifying gun violence, this argument should be discarded, because it would be a new argument being proposed in a rebuttal which is against policy. Now clearly, sporting game violence is quite relevant to my debate. Further addressing your arguments, you're right, the world isn't like Animal House, a 1978 comedy film which focuses on the humors of fraternity life. The world also isn't like Animal Farm, which is an allegory of the Russian Communist Revolution, a very real historical event which ushered in communism to Russia. The novel warns us of the dangers of imposing communist regulations which may contribute to the ultimate downfall of a nation, as I believe, and as most would believe, that your proposed regulations would surely do. Now, you say that banning can be good, because we can ban things such as texting and driving and smoking in certain places. I agree, banning can be good. It can be very beneficial. However, smoking and texting and driving are not guaranteed rights that are guaranteed to the people of this country in the First Amendment. However, freedom of speech and expression are, both of which would be violated if the government were to tell us which video games we can buy, sell, and play. Finally, even if I thought that banning video games were a good idea, your proposed ban is impossible to enact. How could we enforce a worldwide ban? There is no way to ban anything worldwide. Smoking is clearly dangerous, yet the government can only ban it in certain places. Texting and driving is clearly bad, yet it's not banned in New Jersey and other states. It is nearly impossible to ban anything nationwide, yet you propose a global ban. Surely this is impossible to enforce, and on that note, I rest my case. Your ban is impractical and poorly defined. And just a note, anything I said in this debate should not be taken personally at all. Good debate.